signed a deal for partnership with the company, and this is a very ambiguous agreement, which means they could do documentaries, other little projects relating to those two. And I have mixed feelings relating to this. Now, the positive thing I can see coming out of it is you might be able to get material on that person's life and have their reflections recorded, because I think that for as much critiques as you could levy toward both of them, uh, you cannot dispute the fact that they're historical figures, and there's certainly value in seeing the early life or parts of the lives of historical figures that we might not have ever been able to see before. The issue I have with this agreement, and it's something that you're gonna kind of notice as you watch more things that are done by what is considered the mainstream media. There was a documentary that came out, I think, earlier this year. It was called Obama's Last Year or The Last Year, something to that effect. And I watched it on, I think it was Hulu or whichever service provider that was. And it went into various different things that went down during the last year. It skipped over a lot of things. We see a little Donahue. Um, and of note, it showed the reactions of various, and I'm aware of the fogginess of the camera. I can't do anything about it, Lil Donahue. It does that sometimes. So I realize you want to see every detail of me, but you're not going to be able to currently. So I don't know why it's doing that. It's just it is what it is. As I was trying to say earlier, it gave the reactions of various staff members of the administration. And the people that saw this with me were talking about, oh, it's so great. Oh man, it shows all these different things and it really gives you insight on what was going on. I said, wait a second. You really mean to tell me you don't know what propaganda is? You can't see through the veneer that when you give someone access to a person, they're going to more likely than not only consent to that access if it is a positive viewing. Just that person could not see that they were not able to recognize that you are watching what is a watered down um, positive version of some events that likely had negative parts. When we say on to Envoy, O'Donohue says, "What is the Netflix deal?" Again, it's ambiguous. It's an agreement that President Obama and his wife signed that will see to their involvement with various Netflix projects in the future. What I'm trying to say is that while there is a positive in that we might be able to glean a little bit more into their lives, the negative and the downside to this deal is that because it will directly involve them, it's likely to not be critical of them. So I hope that can at least be garnered from what I'm saying here. Um, and it's funny, I've tried to really not be any more negative of Trump than I am of Obama for certain things that both have done. But Trump's correct when he talks about the media biased against them, because some of these, yeah, I'm not sure about the Netflix. I just explained what it was. That again, it's ambiguous. I can only go into what it could be rather than what it actually is. I just know it means that they're going to be involved with projects on Netflix at this point. That's an official thing. So, um, and I was trying to say that with Trump talking about the media's biased against him, if you turn on MSNBC or any of these other stations, you would start to think, with him, it's the beginning of World War III. You wouldn't recognize the fact that he's kept Obama's Afghanistan war going, the surveillance state. These are things that are completely, if they're critiqued, they're gone after because it's Trump or a Republican. But if it's a Democrat doing the same thing, it's okay. Um, so in that basic sense, the media bias is accurate when people make that claim. Look, I don't agree with the term fake news or saying that this story didn't actually happen even though it did, just because we don't like it. But I am saying that there there is going to likely be a perpetuating of the same kind of content with their involvement with this deal, because it means that when they are linked in these projects, They're going to make sure that whatever comes out doesn't say oh too many nasty things of oh this person isn't um, doing this correctly. It's something that's commonplace. And look, I can understand their perspective because if someone said, "Hey, I want to do a documentary about you, will you participate?" and I say yes, I don't want them to talk about what I've done from the standpoint of oh this was awful, this was bad. And a lot of times, if someone's matter of fact about a thing, it will come off as bad because most people would see it as bad. Most people would see it as hypocritical for Obama to criticize George W. for these wars, but then keep them going during his whole tenure. And they could frame it as during his 2008 presidential campaign, then Senator Obama was critical of the Bush administration's foreign policy. Once getting in office, however, he also continued this policy. Any way you spin it, a person will hear that and go, "Wait a second, that means you and this other person that you went after are pretty much the same." But they know when they have Obama sitting there in that chair next to them, oh, shh, be very, very quiet. So that's about that. Um, all right, the chat's looking a little deceased right here. Envoy went to bed, and so did Donahue. So I just want to give my piece. How do you think Clinton would have handled the war in the Middle East? I think she would have been a complete replica of Obama. Um, so I really don't think we would be getting any difference from what we had just over a year and a half ago. Which not to say what we're getting now is any better, that good at all, but it's kind of a damned if you do, damned if you don't scenario. So I will see you guys later. I'll have something else out, maybe today, definitely tomorrow. You know it is. So thank you.